My concern is that there is an erosion of Graham, whether we acknowledge it or not, but I'm starting to see it more than ever, particularly over the last couple of years, ever since the George Floyd incident.
A lot of your departments are already practicing de-escalation. You were practicing de-escalation 20 years ago. You called it something different, whether it was response to threat or whatever.
There are good pieces to Graham versus Connor and the Objective Reasonableness Standard that are worth keeping. It does give some clarity in terms of the three prongs that people always talk about, being the the severity of the crime, resistance by flight or struggle, and whether there was an immediate threat to officers or others.
Personal experience, what I learned in the academy, what I learned as a young use of force instructor, and then going through years of instruction, working with really good instructors and subject matter experts, that my own understanding of Graham versus Connor was severely lacking, especially understanding what the true important part of Graham versus Connor is and how that plays into how we do our jobs.
Not planned on saying anything until, Scott, you sort of started down a road that is something that's been on my mind for a number of years as an FTO supervisor and now detective sergeant. We constantly talk about these types of things after the fact. So Graham v. Connor and the changes that are coming about, we're held to those standards nationwide. But individually, as police departments here in Maine, it's easy for us. We have one training academy, and every law enforcement officer that carries a gun and has powers of arrest goes to the same training program. But across the country, I'm constantly seeing there's a disparity in training standards. And have we reached a point where we, as a profession, we want to hold ourselves to a higher standard? I think nationwide, we need to start working towards some national training standards if we want to call ourselves a profession and have the rest of our served citizens consider us as a profession. We need to start acting like it and stop saying no one else is going to tell me, police chief in Windham, Maine, if I happen to be, how to train my officers, or the state of Maine is not going to tell me how to train my officers. I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by not working together.
Pretty much ostracized within the police department because we're always training. I find it interesting that we train so hard, I mean, everybody who's been a canine handler knows what it is. You train on your days on, you train on your days off, you train all the time, right? If you care, you train. Why do you train? Because you want to deploy well.
He said he was frustrated, and I see something, I don't know Joshua at all just in this meeting today, but I see something in him that kind of inspires me that he wants to change for the good, and he wants to make a positive change. And my message to him is lead upward. Keep the fight up. Do not give up, because that is exactly where the change in our industry is going to come from.